Hi, I'm Justin, and I want to talk to you about growing an online community. I've been a developer advocate at Amazon now for over 3 years, and this is what I've done to grow my audience and my community online on social media and my website. And first, I just want to talk about the difference between an audience and a community. And an audience is just your followers, it's your subscribers, it's the number of people or bots or whatever that is attached to your profiles online or your community. Usually it's just a vanity metric. You don't really need to worry about subscribers and followers as much as you want to actually have engagement from a community. The subscribers, the numbers, they're good for marketing. They might be good for getting brand deals, but unless you're doing that for work, it's something that you really shouldn't look at too much because you're going to end up comparing yourself to someone else, and comparison is just going to make you unhappy. Community is about finding a place you belong. It's about finding other people that want to engage with you and talk with you and learn along with you. And the community side of it is where there actually is value in giving back in a variety of ways. And while social media today is mostly just outward facing, pushing content and trying to grow numbers, there is a lot of community and a lot of value you still can get from being on those platforms. I was on Twitter for about 15 years and had about 20,000 followers there. Over the last 3 years, I've mostly moved over to YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. So let's talk about how you can engage with social media to build a community. And there's 3 things that I think you really need to know. The first is to be authentic, to be yourself, to share your vulnerabilities, to share things you're learning, to not have to always be an expert. Be someone that's learning something. And that's great because other people are also probably learning because people connect with people. They don't want to connect with perfect bots and things that aren't realistic. They want to connect with another human being. And so if you can be your authentic self with all of your fun ideas and quirks in ways you like to communicate, do that. And you'll find people that resonates with. Don't think how you communicate is going to resonate with everyone. And it's okay that some of your posts and ideas may not do as well as you think because it doesn't resonate or it didn't reach the right audience. The second thing you really need to do is focus. You need to find a focus for what you're sharing to people online. You can't just share everything about tech and development because that's too broad of a subject. Even with AWS, it's kind of a narrow subject, but what people are really going to look for is expertise and people learning about something like serverless or Kubernetes or databases. Those are the specific areas of AWS that they might want to learn more about from you. The final thing you need to do is just be consistent. These platforms we share on are all going to lift up voices that bring more engagement and more traffic to the platform. The platform needs people to be engaged, and you will get that most by being engaged in the platform, by being consistent with what you're putting out there, the posts you're doing. Different platforms are going to need different levels of consistency, so find the platform and the cadence that works for you. Don't think that you have to post 3 times a day every day because you're going to get burned out, and that's not sustainable for any sort of community if you do it for 6 months and then flare out and disappear. So be authentic to yourself. Find your focus in what you want to share online and how you want to share it, and then just be consistent with that. Find that cadence, that every day, every other day, once a week, once every other month. Those are all things that you need to decide for yourself to engage with people online, to build communities, not just audiences. If you find yourself chasing trends a lot or pointing at text on a screen, you're basically a banner ad. And that's not growing a community. That's trying to chase something to get more of an audience. And that's not what you want to do to grow and be authentic online. The next thing I want to talk about is how you communicate to people. There are 4 different ways that humans communicate to other human beings. This idea comes from a book called Don't Be Such a Scientist, and it has a lot of good details about how to communicate in a technical or a scientific world. If you're part of this community and you're trying to share people other technical things, you have to figure out how to communicate that to them. And the 4 ways that they put out in the book on how people communicate is with your head, your heart, your gut, and your hips. And these levels of communication require more or less actual communication between people depending on what you're trying to say. Your hips are all about kind of an unspoken survivalship that all humans share. Humans want to live. They want to help the species move on. They want to be accepted as part of a group because that means they can survive. And speaking with your hips often is unspoken things. If you've ever seen a billboard and thought, that person's attractive, that was speaking with their hips. The company hired someone that they thought was generally attractive to reach out to a broad audience to speak with their hips to be able to communicate whatever it is they were trying to sell you. And you looked at it and you said, wow, they're attractive. Maybe I can buy that thing and also be attractive. Those were all unspoken things, a communication style that happened that they're trying to grow their audience. That's not necessarily what you want to do online. Many people try to do this because it's usually the easiest thing for some people. If you're good looking, then you can just be good looking and people will come to you sometimes. But that's not necessarily the community that we're trying to build in technical spaces and with a focus on helping other people. The second place you communicate is with your gut, and your gut is split-second decisions and a lot of times laughter, things that are really funny to you. It's a great way to communicate to reach a broad audience without necessarily going deep into details about technical things. You can do some of this with memes and trends and stuff that occasionally helps them laugh, help them know you have a sense of humor, help them know you're human, but be careful by only sharing those things because meme accounts often grow big audiences, but they have no engagement with that audience. They can't really tell the audience anything to help them besides giving them moments of joy and laughter to say, oh, that was funny. Okay, next thing. And that's not necessarily helping people learn or grow or be engaged in the community. Speaking from your heart is all about what you believe. It's the things that you do in your free time because you think it's a good thing to do. Speaking from your heart is all about motivating people with the things they already believe, the things they're already motivated to do. If you think volunteering at a shelter is a good thing for you to do, you're probably going to go do it on the weekend, whether someone told you to or not. But I could speak from my heart about a story I had when I volunteered at a shelter, and it moved me and it made me so happy that I did because now I feel better about the community and the people there that I serve. That might inspire you to do the thing you already believe. But I'm not necessarily trying to change your belief there. I'm just trying to encourage you to act on the things you already believe. And those can be good things and going to do things that help, but also can be spending time to dismantle bad things, something that you think shouldn't exist anymore, something that is bad in the world. You're going to spend your time and devote energy to make sure that it doesn't harm other people. The last communication is in your head. And this often needs the most communication. It needs the most, not necessarily the most words, but the most amount of communication between two people to understand things by thinking slowly about things and then realizing what that means and how it might affect their heart and what they believe. Oftentimes, conference talks are in the head space, especially technical conference talks. These are areas that we're trying to portray this deep learning about something that we just did or accomplished so other people can learn from us. But what you really need to do in a conference talk is speak at a variety of levels with, hey, this is what I've learned, but this is what I believe, and this is what will inspire you to go learn it for yourself. And throw in some jokes to help people feel good about what you're communicating. So they'll remember, I felt good during that conversation, during that talk. I believe what they were saying, and now I want to go learn it for myself. You have to range what you're speaking in a conference talk, but also on social media. Find the mix that's right for you. How much technical content are you trying to speak to someone's brain? How much are you trying to inspire them to do what you believe? And how much are you helping to entertain them and make them laugh and have a gut reaction to something? These communication styles aren't something that you just set and forgets. They're something that you really have to work on over time as the community evolves and as new people are coming into the community. So make sure you balance those things and you're understanding how it is that you're talking to those people and why you want to engage with them in those ways. Growing a community and an audience is really hard. It's going to be a lot harder in the next 3 to 5 years as auto-generated content is coming out that lowers the threshold for what it takes to actually make content. Try not to rely on those tools too heavily. Try not to automate your way out of things and just blast out information. Be intentional and be very human-centric. Make sure that you're the one creating content and that that content resonates with you so that other people can find it as well. As that content explosion is happening around multiple platforms, here's some tips on rising above the noise a little bit. The two things that I have found that were helpful was, one, being engaged in the communities or on the platforms that I wanted to be engaged in with people that already had an audience. When I was growing my audience on Twitter from 8,000 to 20,000 followers, I found people that had a much larger following than me, and I would engage with their posts. I would provide additional details. I would ask compelling questions. I added value to their community by being engaged with them. That, in turn, helps my audience grow because more people saw my posts. I couldn't just post on my timeline. I had to reach out into other communities and be involved and add value. And that brought more people over to my community as well and my followers. I grew my YouTube channel from about 1,500 subscribers to over 5,000 subscribers by doing one trick that I never thought would work. I paid for advertising. I took one of the videos that I thought was good content and I put some money behind it. And I said, hey, I think this is good, but I need more people to see it. And so I paid $100 for more people to see it. And it turns out I was right. Once I paid that $100, my subscribers grew by over 4,000 subscribers. That video went from 100 views to over 15,000 views. The content was shared over and over again because I was right. It was good content, but also I was right that nobody could find it. There's way too much content out there and discovery mechanisms are hard. So sometimes you have to either put a little money behind it or you have to reach out into other communities to add value to their community to help people come back to yours. So to wrap up, just remember to be your authentic self. Find your voice and be a human being on the internet. This is something that is often hard, but it grows the most authentic connections in communities and the communities that are most involved. Don't just try to spew and follow trends and get the most followers. That's not an engaged community. Focus on your topic and be consistent with your posting. And then figure out your communication style. Figure out how you want to talk to the community and in what moments each communication style is relevant. Add value to their lives with what you're learning and what you're trying to do. And that community should grow over time as long as you can find your audience. That might require going into other communities. It might require paid advertising, whatever it is to rise above the noise as more and more generated content and more people are just trying to gain followers rather than build communities. I hope that helps. If you have tips of your own for growing communities and things that you've learned along the way, please share them in the comments.